guys, it's Sarah. Thanks so much for joining me for this video. I'm going to be doing my first ever tag video today, and I wasn't actually tagged to do this, but I saw one of my favorite cruelty-free YouTubers, HeidiKMakeup, I'll link her channel below, did a cruelty-free tag, and basically it's just a bunch of questions pertaining to, cruelty-free products, how to go cruelty-free, etc. And since my channel is all about cruelty-free beauty, I figured this would be a lot of fun to do. It kind of helps you guys get to know me a little bit better, and I just think it'll be a lot of fun. So let's go ahead and get into it. So the first question is, what was your first impression of cruelty-free makeup? I would say this isn't just pertaining to cruelty-free makeup, but even like cruelty-free like bath and body products. I always thought initially that as long as the product said not tested on animals in some form or fashion on the packaging, that meant it was cruelty-free. And as long as it said that, I thought it was fine to buy it. Turns out that's not true. First of all, a lot of cruelty-free products don't say anything on the packaging. And second of all, the phrase not tested on animals and cruelty-free and all that stuff doesn't actually necessarily mean anything, because there's no real law or rule that says what exactly that means. So it could just mean that brand doesn't test their finished products on animals, but they do test their ingredients on animals, or they hire a third party to test their products, etc. So there's a lot more that goes into it than just looking at the back of the packaging and saying, oh, this says not tested on animals. So that was my initial impression of which products were and were not cruelty-free. And I've obviously learned since then that that's not the case. Okay, the next question, what is your opinion on parent companies? So in case you're unfamiliar with this, there are some cruelty-free brands that are owned by parent companies that test on animals. And this means that the company itself doesn't test their products on animals, and even though they're owned by a parent company, they have maintained their cruelty-free stance and they don't test on animals, even though their parent company does. So one example of this would be the brand NYX. NYX is cruelty-free, but they're owned by L'Oreal, which is not cruelty-free. So there are some people that are very strongly against this, and there are some people that could care less. I'm a little bit more in the could care less category. But as far as makeup goes, I tend to avoid buying those products just because I know a lot of you guys don't support those types of brands, and I don't want to show those kinds of brands and you guys not feel comfortable buying them yourselves. So as far as makeup goes, I pretty much avoid those brands for the most part, mainly because there are so many other companies that don't have that issue. For things like personal care products like toothpaste, cleaning products, I don't know. To me, I really don't care. My way of seeing it is that those brands are showing their parent companies that there is a demand for cruelty-free products. And that's the way I see it. I know a lot of people disagree with that. You're totally entitled to your own opinion on this, so don't think that I'm trying to tell you one way is right and one way is wrong. Honestly, I don't know, and I don't think it's the biggest problem in the world. I think there are bigger things to worry about, and this just isn't something that bothers me too much. So for instance, I sometimes will buy 7th generation cleaning products. They were recently bought out by Unilever, which is not cruelty-free, but 7th generation is still, maintains their stance to not test on animals. So really, it's up to you. I say do your own research, but I don't think it's the end of the world if you buy products that are owned by parent companies. All right, third question. What was the turning point in you going cruelty-free? Honestly, it was a pretty slow process. Like, I knew for a while that I wanted to support brands that were cruelty-free, and I think it just was a matter of educating myself on which brands were and were not cruelty-free. And honestly, it's all a learning process. Like, I'm still learning to this day, and I've been doing this for 4 or 5 years, even longer maybe. So I don't even know if I can say what the turning point was for me. Okay, next question. What would you say to someone considering going cruelty-free? Do it. And I would say Logical Harmony is going to be your best resource. I think a lot of us here in the cruelty-free community can agree that Logical Harmony is the most comprehensive and the most trustworthy source out there. There's also lists like Leaping Bunny. Leaping Bunny I think is okay. It's just not as comprehensive as Logical Harmony, and sometimes it's a little inaccurate, but for the most part, Leaping Bunny is good. PETA's list don't even look at it. I mean, it's just don't waste your time on PETA's cruelty-free list. It does have some brands on there that are cruelty-free, but it's just wildly inaccurate, so stay away from that one. I'm not throwing shade at PETA as an organization. They do a lot of great work, but I just think they need to stop trying to have a cruelty-free brand list because they don't, anyway. Okay, what are your best cruelty-free dupes? It's been so long since I've used non-cruelty-free products that it's hard for me to I don't even know if I have any dupes necessarily. I would say for shampoo, I always think because I'm a big scent person, like I like things that smell good, and I know like products like Herbal Essences, which is a really popular shampoo line that's not cruelty-free. I think they're kind of known for their like really good smells, at least that's what I remember them for. And I would say if you're looking for a shampoo that has a good like fruity or flowery type of scent, go for Alba Botanica shampoos. Their Hawaiian line, they have like a coconut one, they have a floral smelling one, they've got like mango if you're into that kind of scent. So go for things like that will remind you of the kind of maybe products that you used in the past. And I think it makes transitioning a lot easier. As far as makeup goes, one thing that I can think of, you know those L'Oreal Infallible like single eyeshadows that people talk about a lot? Like I said, L'Oreal is not cruelty-free, but the e.l.f. long-lasting lustrous eyeshadows, I have a couple of them here. I used to have a L'Oreal Infallible that was like a gold color. I think it was called, I don't remember what it was called now, but these are kind of similar. They're kind of in between. They're like a really tightly packed, almost cream shadow, but they're also sort of like a powder shadow. And that's kind of how you would describe those L'Oreal Infallible ones too. I'm not saying they're exact dupes, but if you're looking for something similar, I would say go for these. These are very shimmery, so I think it's similar. What items have you not found a cruelty-free dupe for yet? I don't think there's really anything. I'm able to find everything I need just in a cruelty-free version. I haven't felt the need to buy anything that is not cruelty-free in a very long time. So I think once you've been doing this for a while, you don't even think about those non-cruelty-free products anymore. What's your favorite cruelty-free brand, drugstore, and high-end? Drugstore, I'm gonna say Wet n Wild for drugstore. They just put out a lot of good products. I've really been into their new foundation, the Photo Focus foundation. It's really good. I think they're really stepping up their game. And they still keep their prices in a reasonable range. I feel like e.l.f., I do still love e.l.f., but they've really been raising their prices a lot, and I don't think their quality has really gone up. I still like e.l.f., but I would say out of the drugstore brands, Wet n Wild is my favorite. And for high-end, I really haven't tried very many high-end brands. I'm gonna say this brand called turninng. I've only tried a couple of their products, and I just wrote a blog post on them, which I will link in the description box, but I love their matte lipstick. It's so good, and I really want to try more of their stuff, but they are very expensive, so I'm gonna keep an eye out for Haute Look, because Haute Look has them on there a lot, and they're very affordable on there. Okay, the next question. Which brands and or items do you most wish were cruelty-free? All of them. Can I say that? I wish every brand was cruelty-free. What advice do you have for the temptation to buy non-cruelty-free products? I used to have this problem like years ago when I first started, and I can honestly say that temptation goes away. Once you find a lot of cruelty-free products that you really like, you don't feel the need. When I walk into the drugstore, and I think Heidi said this in her video too, I don't even see the non-cruelty-free brands in there. Like, I just walk straight past them. Like, I know exactly where I'm going. I'm going to Wet n Wild, Milani, Physicians Formula, all those, brands that I know that are cruelty-free, and I walk straight past, like, Revlon, CoverGirl, Maybelline. Like, those are just, I don't even want to look at those brands. I don't need to, because I can find everything I need from the other brands. So, that really does go away. I would say watch cruelty-free YouTubers, because then you'll feel inspired to purchase products that, are ethical, and you won't even feel the need to look at the other ones. Okay, next question. What do you do with your non-cruelty-free products? Declutter or use up? I would say as you're transitioning, definitely don't just throw them away. I think that's incredibly wasteful if you have non-cruelty-free products in your collection. Either if you like them, keep them and use them up, and then as they run out, you can replace them with a non-cruelty-free version. If it's a product you don't really like that much, and it's gently used, give it to a friend, donate it to a women's shelter. I mean, there are all kinds of things you can do with these products. Don't just throw them away, because you already paid for it. The damage is done. You might as well either use it up or give it to someone else who will use it up. And the last question is, do you think animal testing will end one day? Yes, absolutely. I think it will. I mean, we've already seen a lot of countries ban animal testing. The EU has done this, and that doesn't necessarily mean that everything sold in the EU is cruelty-free, but it's a big step. I think it's gonna happen. I don't think there's any other possibility. We know that animal testing is incredibly inaccurate. There are much more reliable ways to do product safety testing, and those things are going to take over. It's going to take time because animal testing is not, the biggest priority for, companies and lawmakers, which is sad. I wish that it were a bigger priority, but it's going to take time. But I definitely think it's happening. The more of us there are supporting brands that have values, the more those kinds of brands will grow, and other brands like L'Oreal and Estee Lauder and all these big name brands, they're gonna see that they need to change. So, long story short, yes, I think animal testing will end one day. It's probably not going to be, in the next decade. It might take 30, 40 years, but it's definitely going to happen. Just have to be patient and keep fighting the good fight. So anyway, so that's all the questions. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and hopefully learned something. If you have any questions for me, or if you want me to clarify anything that I said in this video, please leave a comment in the, down below. I will definitely get back to you. I always respond to comments. I love talking to you guys down there, so I really appreciate you watching this video. If you enjoyed it, you can subscribe, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.